Retro gaming. To me that means being able to relive the games I played on our 386 and the few PCs that followed. I'm talking about DOS games. Games like Stunts, Doom and just Jackrabbit. I still love playing them. I already own a handheld to run them on, but it broke down after falling several times. It still works, but some of the buttons just came off, and I don't have the soldering skills to fix that. Since we're going on vacation shortly, I bought this Trimui Smart Pro. The bigger screen is awesome, and even though it has a 16:9 screen, most DOS games look great on it anyway. Let me show you how I got my favorite DOS games to run on this handheld.
It's the anarchy with me on the exciting guide!
Wanna see me unbox it? Here you go! After lifting the top part of the box, we'll find a pretty basic piece of paper with information about the unit. Below that there's the unit in a small bag with a piece of foam on top of it. And under there is the charging cable. That's all. Let's just take it out and rip the plastic film from the screen. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I'm not going to review it though. Yeah, you might want to check TechTweep's video if you want to know if this device is right for you. As you can see, there's quite a lot of systems in here. Sadly, the SD card in my system became corrupted shortly after I got it. There are still some Dreamcast games on it, but most other systems are empty. They were here a minute ago. Since my card was already broken, I decided to install CrossMix OS on a different one. The OS in the name is a bit misleading, as this is mostly the stock OS with extra emulators and features. The installation instruction on their GitHub page tells you to copy the BIOS files from the original distribution. Let's hope these are still intact. So I put the SD card in the card reader and plugged it in to copy them over. Sorry about the frame rate, the screen recorder I used kinda sucked. Copying the files is pretty darn slow. Must be the card because I'm using a pretty fast card reader. I'll copy the Game Boy Advance games over as well, since I don't have a lot of those myself. The same for Dreamcast. Meanwhile, I formatted another SD card by simply putting it into the handheld and choosing the format option. Look, even formatting a card can be a game. Right, away with this piece of crap. And in goes the card we've just formatted. It's also a no-name, because that's what I had lying around. I promise I'll buy a new one, okay? I removed the empty folders the handheld has just made for me to start with a clean card. Let's download CrossMix. There's our file. I'll just extract the contents directly onto the SD card. Done. Let's add the BIOS files. Alright, let's copy the Dreamcast ROMs as well, so we at least have something that should just work. Okay, we were doing DOS games. Let's copy a few of those. So here we are back at the handheld, and the DOS games are here and working, but there's a slight issue. All the files are listed and none of them show a file extension, so good luck finding the executable. And when you do find it, you'll have to select the right executable again. After trying to find a solution myself and failing, I asked a question on Reddit. Turns out, it's best to zip the games. Who would have thought? So I put the card back into the card reader, zipped the DOS games and removed the original directories. Put the card back into the handheld and it's only showing 4 games. That's a good sign. And now, when I open a game, it immediately shows the list of executables. That's a lot better. You can press right on the D-pad to make the selected executable the default for this game. Now I can exit the game using the menu button, and when I go back in, it won't ask me which executable to load anymore. To make sure you can actually play a game, you can map buttons to keyboard keys, mouse buttons or a joystick by pressing the menu button again and going into the advanced menu. Open Controls and choose Port 1 controls. As you can see, it has detected the game and automatically made a nice mapping for it. But if you don't like it, you can change it quite easily. Let's start Halloween Harry. This one was a pain to start at first, because there are multiple files with the name Harry with different extensions. Now we only have the executable, which is a lot easier to work with. No issues here. Let's go on to just Jackrabbit. As you can see, the screen overlay covers part of the image. Personally, I can live without the ugly overlay anyway, so just disable it by clicking the menu button, selecting on-screen overlay and simply disable it. That's a lot better. Onto stunts, one of my favorites of the past. I'll accidentally select the wrong executable. This is a cracked version of the game, and running this executable without actually answering the security questions results in this. Oh no! But we have just set that executable as default! Don't worry, press the menu button and head into the advanced menu again. Hold L2 and R2 and select Restart. The game will now fully reset and you can select the right one. Another great way to relive the classics is using source ports. These are usually re-implementations of the original game engine with added features like higher resolution and frame rates and more modern controls. You might have noticed that when we looked at Doom's controls, that there were buttons mapped to specific weapons, but there are simply not enough buttons to map all 8 of them and still be able to keep it playable. Included in this version of CrossMix is the PR Boom port. Just throw Doom's WAD file into the Doom folder and you're there! This will give you weapon rotation using the L2 and R2 buttons. Unfortunately, this port doesn't seem to provide widescreen support, so we'll have to settle for this. I hope they will add GZ Doom in a future version to fix that. It took me a while to get Doom to show, however, even after multiple times refreshing the ROMs list. After I used the Emu Cleaner app, it suddenly turned up. It seems like a bug to me, but fortunately the workaround is pretty easy. Apart from the already available ports, you can use the Portmaster app to add more. It's got a great list of games that are ready to run. Others will need the original game files. It's a bit hit or miss whether these games will run or not. Duke Nukem 3D would not start on my device even after adding the game files. The same can be said for Rise of the Triad. Your mileage may vary, so to say. The Prince of Persia port SDL pop works fine though. So do the Blues Brothers and Ken's Labyrinth ports. Guess that's all I have for you today. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.